What's up, people? The question today is, who owns the moon? Can we colonize the moon? And who owns the moon? Can we start selling real estate on the moon? Because we need to do something differently. And in my new reign of terror, I think the only place that's good is the moon. Because here, as we were discussing how we can improve America, most of my theories are based in a new policy called socio-communarchy. Socialism, communism, and a monarchy. And I'm not going to get into it right now because there's so many details and I really want to get into this at a later date. Plus, this is our 999th video. According to YouTube, there might be somewhere between 1100 videos and 950 videos, but we're going to say this is 999 leading into our 1000th video, which Mike Magellan, MC, whatever. He made a sick video. We had everybody that you've ever come to know and love participate. But now, normally I would make a video when the market's going down about steeds and end of the world and Armageddon and all that stuff. But the thing is, it's not really that funny. It's not that funny because that's exactly what's happening right now. As much as everybody wants to say this is fear, fear is based on something, right? The fear that the future is not going to be as good as the past, right? And all our kids are going to be left with all this debt and all that stuff. So basically all the fear mongering, all the stuff that people tried to poo-poo and sweep under the rug, that's what's come up now to basically bite us. And, you know, the most important thing I want to talk about today, and that has something, and it's sort of some of my policies in the new social communarchy that's coming, is the withdrawal of our troops. Now, here we had our greatest victory. We killed Osama bin Laden. Congratulations. But let's go back to why we've lost. We have lost. Let's admit defeat. They came here 10 years ago and they blew our shit up. So we got pissed and we went there and blew their shit up. We blew their shit up real good. Right? Remember that? The problem is we left our guys there to continuously get killed over the last 10 years, which has gained us nothing at all, with the hope and belief that we would overthrow the Taliban and put a government in Afghanistan that somewhat resembled a democracy. It hasn't worked and it never will work. So the idea now was that Bush didn't want to cut and run, was the whole thing. We can't just pick up and leave. Now we're at the point where they've blown our shit up. We blew their shit up, but now they have won the war. And we have to admit defeat. Now we're always wondering, in the social, political atmosphere of the world, will that make us look bad? Let's take a step back now. Do we look good in anybody's eyes right now? We're a collapsing empire, right? Nobody likes our policies unless they need money from us to support their calamities. I'm not going to get into how nobody sings songs about stuff that goes on in America, but if there's a catastrophe overseas, suddenly everybody wants to sing songs and we all donate money to help other countries. There are no songs being sung to America. But most importantly, again, let's talk about this tragedy in Afghanistan. First of all, it was a complete setup. If you don't think this was a leak, or they just so coincidentally shot down all of our elite guys all in one helicopter. If you don't think there was a leak, if you don't think that somebody was infiltrated and let them know you might want to shoot this helicopter down, it'll be a big deal for you guys, then you don't know what's going on. So the easy solution, and it doesn't matter, because what do you think's going to happen? We're never going to leave Afghanistan completely because we're under this idea that we're going to be able to nation build there. It's not going to happen. Okay? So what America's good at is dropping bombs. So here's what we'll do. We'll leave Afghanistan, pull every troop out. I'm talking about every single troop. Now, the Taliban will come back over. They'll take over the country. Blah, blah. They already have taken back the country, even though we're there. They've never left. They were never defeated. They just were in a cave waiting. And now they're back. We are not going to win. Pull our troops out of Afghanistan, 100 complete withdrawal, and say this. You've won. Sorry. Oh, but that will make us look weak. Oh, yeah? Here's what I have to say to those people. When the time comes and Afghanistan forms some sort of army and there's some sort of centralized army where we can actually go and fight people, then we'll go back and we'll show them how weak we are. Or why don't we do this? Let them have a civil war, and the people, now I don't understand how many Taliban there are, but if there are a good amount of people that or do not want the Taliban, let them raise up arms to the Taliban and fight them themselves. If they haven't learned how to fight over the last 10 years of us training them, then you know what? Let the Taliban win. Let them take over Afghanistan. Because the main point is, and I know there's we don't want them to have some sort of headquarters, right? We don't want them to have control over a country so then they'll be able to do things. But you know what? The bottom line is them not being able to hurt us here in America. So we take our troops, we bring them back here, and make sure that our borders are protected. Increase every kind of protection around the borders. The Mexican border, the Texas border, the Canadian border. And make it so where they're going to be afraid because you're going to get shot on sight if we think you're a terrorist trying to get into our country. And I know, another one of those crazy ideas. Oh, they're going to hate us. You can't do that. That's unconstitutional. Okay. Let's just let our guys keep getting killed. And now in Iraq, it's beyond. I have no words. It's not working. We went there, shock and awe. We killed the dictatorship. They didn't have weapons of mass destruction. And once again, here we are. We don't want to let the bad guys take over the country because then we have to be worried about something. They'll get nuclear bombs. As long as they can't hurt our country. Once again, protect the borders and let Iran and Iraq join forces like they're going to do anyway, and they'll form an army. Then we go bomb them from our country. Send over the drones, send over the rockets. Because there is one thing. Our rockets can reach them. Their rockets cannot reach us. Oh, what about our interests? What about all that? Well, again, when I start expressing my points of the social communarchy and the green America and how I'm going to force people to put solar panels on their house and everybody has a windmill in their backyard, it'll take away from the need for the oil. If everybody was to chip in, every household, every human being that lives in America, if they all participated in some sort of green effort, and if it has to be forced, I will force you to participate in it if that's what it takes to lessen the effects, lessen the demand of oil that we need in this country. Because if that's all that matters, if that's the only reason we're friends with Saudi Arabia, if that's the only reason that we're trying to make friends with these savages out there that want to kill us, then if we don't need the oil, then we don't need them, and we could go back to protecting our own well-being. And if we have to be isolationists about it, so be it. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And back to racial profiling, in my opinion, yes, one bad apple ruined it for everybody. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. So if we think you look like a terrorist, you're getting searched. That's it. And you know what? The little grandmothers, you're not getting searched. I don't care. Children, you're not getting searched. Only racial profiling from here on. Call me a racist, but I know what the terrorists look like. I got a lot more to say, but let's talk about what's going on. If you're in 100% cash, I would suggest that's how you stay. Right now, we've lost all confidence in everything. And as much as people want to, the people that don't want to panic you are saying, oh, this is just fear, let it subside and then we could get back in. This is reality setting in, people. Nothing was good. It was the government propping up the stocks. It was the government keeping interest rates at zero, forcing people to buy stocks. A month from now, if we're at highs on the NASDAQ, I pretty much will be giving up. You know, the computers can be programmed. They'll retype the code in, and the matrix will start taking the stock market back up. But you know what? If you're in 100% cash, let the day out, let the day plan, let the day plan around what the day is showing you, is what I was trying to say. The moral of today's program is there's so much to be worried about. And in this part, in this environment, there's nothing really to do but just stay safe. And the best way to stay safe is to stay out of it. Now, we've got stocks now that I didn't think were going to be back. I didn't think I'd see Google back under 585. I didn't see Google. I mean, some of these stocks are just right back to where they were over a year ago. So there's going to be buying opportunities again. Because remember, think of it this way. It's not about the companies. It's not about the earnings. It's just numbers, fear, and greed. And they'll get to a point where the matrix feels like having the market go up, and some stocks will start going up. Participate in it for that day, and then go back to cash, and then whatever the matrix is doing the next day, participate in that way. Remember, the stock market is disconnected from reality. That's why anything can happen, because the market never should have came back from those lows of 08 and 09. Right now, we should still be climbing slowly, not 100% moves in an index. Dow 6,000 and change up to 12,000 never should have happened. Never should have happened. We should have had a slow grind, not just rocket ship to the moon. And all this is, like I said last week, and why I was still shorting the market, is the Qs were still in that range. We hadn't gone anywhere. Let me see the Qs breaking 54, and then I'll be starting to worry, or then I'd be more confident in shorting the market, and that's what we got. Qs broke 54 or 50. First it was 55. I was amazed, but all right. Regardless, there needs to be something done, America, and my social communarchy would actually work. And it's not about getting voted in at this point, because presidents don't work. Republican, Democrat stuff doesn't work. Lobbyists doesn't work. Tea Party doesn't work. Nothing works. So what needs to be done is a new government needs to be formed. Something new. Something exciting. And a lot of my policies are borderline unconstitutional because I want to force people into doing what I do. But I believe what I'm proposing is for the betterment of the country. So that's it. If you want to learn more, please email me. We could shoot the breeze, talk about it, and you'll see that I do make valid points. Maybe unconstitutional, but they are valid points to save America. Because that's all we got left now, people. I've got 2 kids to worry about, and I'm sure you guys have something to worry about too.